Wait, get the pitch.
Was that the pitch?
Get the pitch. Okay, we're in tune. So give us the tip.
So we got to start this off because this is unplanned. This came in just right under the wire like 15 minutes ago. We had a tip that fully blew my back out.
You don't know what that means, Liz. But okay. Okay. Yes.
I saw this on the celly, and I couldn't believe it. I was looking around, and I was like, no one's here. And I'm like speed running all of these insane monologues and feelings and thoughts. And we have to open with this because I need to speak my truth about it. So this is what we got. We said, hi, TrueAnon. Actually, Brace, will you read it? Because...
Sure. Well, I just want to give some context here. We opened a tip line email, which is...
tips@trueanon.com.
There we go. And we've received some interesting ones. Do you want me to read this email?
Yeah.
I'm not going to read all the niceties.
No, you should.
Oh, wait. I'm looking at the wrong one.
Oh,
Oops.
my God.
There we go. Hi, TrueAnon. I worked at the airport a while back, and while I was searching his things, an electrician told me he worked on Mark Andreessen's house. I want to pause right there and say, you mean you were in TSA? My arch enemies?
Hey, but is it really your enemy, or is he now your friend?
Let me say this. If you worked for TSA and you were listening to this, please put me on the do-fly list.
The do-fly?
We do not need to search his things anymore. We do not need to search Brace's things anymore list. He said, this is the electrician, you won't believe this, but the front room has 2 sets of escalators. When I asked what for, the staff guy said one set is for him and his wife. The other set of escalators is for staff. No shit. Thought that was an interesting tidbit of rich people shit. Enjoy.
Okay, let me break this down for a second. Okay, so I know the obvious thing to talk about is the 2 escalators. You know, the segregation within the home. That is terrible. That is insane. I want to talk about having an escalator in the home.
I don't know if I've ever heard of that.
That is fucking crazy. You are a fucking psychopath. So I get this tip, and I'm literally in the train station, as I always am, basically every hour of the day.
Going to Dachau!
And I literally, I'm reading this on my phone, and I look up, and I'm seeing people go up an escalator, right? And I'm just like, you lazy motherfucker, you can't walk up the stairs in your house? That is crazy.
I want everybody here, once again, to look up a picture of Mark Andreessen. And I'm looking at his house now. It's a 2-story house.
But I'm guessing, but you have to ask, is the escalator the cause or the effect of the photo that you're talking about?
Exactly. We don't know.
Now, having an escalator, so this is what I was thinking about. Elevator in the home, classic. Yeah. Perhaps you are a bitter, craven old woman whose husband died, a kind of Mr. Burns type.
Yeah.
And you're so brittle with your bones, and you just are curled up, and you need to just get shoved in the elevator, or perhaps your help needs to bring up the dinner in the silver trays via dumbwaiter.
Yeah.
Whatever. Lindy, got it. Escalator?
It's disgusting,
You
Liz.
walk into your $10 million, $40 million, whatever house, and you're like, you know what, this we have this beautiful view of the Bay Bridge or wherever this asshole fucking lives. You know what would be great? Let's put in an escalator. The thing from the airport. That is fucking, he's a psychopath. That is fucking crazy. It is so crazy to me.
It's a stucco, assuming this is the house, because it's had a few. The stucco and terracotta roof structure is showcased by balconies and a terrace lined with carved balustrades. A terrace you're taking the escalator up to?
An escalator in your house.
The man is sick.
The thing in Target.
Well, I'm wondering.
An escalator. An escalator!
I'm wondering if Mark Andreessen goes up. There's a special escalator for him because it has like a narrow roof to it that it molds his head further into that shape.
Like in a casino.
Like in a casino or something. You know, he goes in almost like an assembly line or something. Not an
Sure.
assembly line, some sort of factory floor
Right.
device.
Robotic arms come to whittle it.
Yeah,
into
and it
shape.
shines it and shaves it, kind of like an
Sure.
Acme factory kind of thing. And he gets out ready to fuck his wife at the top of the escalator, totally shiny, ready to dive right in there.
Like one of those little gadgets that boop, pops the eggs out.
Mark Andreessen just shoving his whole entire head up his wife's crazy anus. I mean, can you believe it? These people are crazy. But that is, I should say, the sexual mores of a man who has escalators in his home.
Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein. Come in. Jeffrey Epstein.
Like fucking get off your ass and walk, you bitch.
Well, hopefully one day he'll be on a wheelchair.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. We're back. You didn't even know we were gone, did you?
No, but here
And
we are.
You don't need to. I was in Poland for CPAC.
Sure. And the elections.
And they're electing there.
They did already.
Which of the Morlocks won in that motherfucker? Polish
There's
elections? I gotta
another
look it up.
PIS.
Polish elections. Unfortunately, there's very little news out of the country due to the shortage of
You say this, and yet here they are, Poland, on the cover of The Economist.
conservative Carol, a guy named Carol. Wow. I'm sorry.
You learn a new thing every
A
day.
guy named Carol. Yeah, Vice President, this dude, Rebecca.
That was the Pope's name.
I know, but that's a little, you know about them. They're a little, you know. A guy named Carol, Nawrocki, won Polish election. Wow.
Seems like you were really paying attention when you were over there.
I wasn't. No, I was there on a sex tour.
Oh.
I was doing sex tourism in Poland.
That's terrible.
Yeah. I was trying to see how they do it. I wasn't having sex. I was trying to observe them doing it.
Sure. Kind of like a safari situation.
Yeah, it was a sex safari. Again, I was not fucking, but I was observing Polish sexual
You got your
mores.
binoculars out.
Very donkey based, I found. But you know what? It's Eastern Europe. Anything goes.
I'm not going
to
to tell you where it was, but I saw a wild donkey.
Really?
Yeah.
They let those things do that?
They're all over the place.
There's a place up north from here that has some baby donkeys
Oh, that's
at
nice.
it. And I want to see.
I do love a little farm
love
situation.
donkeys.
A little petting
The
zoo.
mule, the situation of the mule, which I know has been discussed on this show before. The fucking of the horse and the donkey
me?
together. That's
Oh,
how you
I
make a
see.
mule.
Yeah.
That seems that's
I
science.
think that's a weird way to describe it.
But that is true.
Animal husbandry.
Sure, but
Yes.
that's a little bit more appropriate.
I know, but that seems so gussied up.
Euphemism.
I know. It's too
It doesn't
euphemistic.
yeah, but the other is too, like, you're trying to make it more too human.
Well, yeah, husbandry sounds more human to me. They're not married, definitely not married. But it's just crazy because that was like basically as far as science got until like the 1850s. It was bloodletting, and they were like, we made a new animal from the horse and the donkey. It's crazy to me.
And what's happened since then?
I don't know. They should make a new one. Are there other ones like that?
What do you mean?
I mean, I guess they've made new
They do
kinds
that
of
with dogs all the time.
I
Have you
was
seen
about
all
to
the
say, yeah.
crazy dog species that they're cooking up in Korea?
I know. No. I've been doing, the terrorists are fucking with this, but I've been doing this thing where I make sort of like a step stool thing in order for like Chihuahuas to mate with Great Danes and stuff like that. I have like a side hustle where I do that. It's like instruments. My name is Brace.
Hello, everyone. I'm Liz.
I'm producer Young Chomsky.
This is TrueAnon.
We've got an interesting episode.
We do.
There's some gossip.
We got some gossip. We got some Elon. We've got some action. But first, we would be remiss if we didn't mention, because while we were away, there was an extremely Zort-like case that broke in New York City. And I feel like we just got to mention it because I feel like we're seeing more and more Zorts popping up. Maybe it's one of those things like playing cards, where once you see it once on the street, just a random playing card, you start seeing them all over the place.
Is that true?
Yes. Now that I've said it, you're going to start noticing them.
Bader Meinhof.
Wow.
It's totally a thing. But we had a crazy crypto kidnapping in New York City that is worth mentioning because it's something that we at TrueAnon have been keeping an eye on. So John Woltz, great name, was arrested over a break for kidnapping a guy. He kept him locked up for weeks, torturing him, trying to get his Bitcoin.
In Soho, nonetheless.
In Soho, on Prince Street.
On the cobblestone streets of Soho.
You don't know what's going on over there. The man's name, Michael Valentino Teofrasto Katurian.
Interesting.
I have
name.
no idea if I'm saying that right. I'm not, because it's me.
Yeah.
And it's also that name. I'm just going to call him Michael Valentino. He was held captive for 17 days in a $21 million townhouse. They found him. He escaped, crazy enough, running barefoot down Spring Street. And he like runs up to a cop and he's like, please help me. There's like surveillance video of him doing this. They said he was drugged, beaten, shocked with electrical wires. They used a chainsaw to like slice his leg.
Yeah, he has a chainsaw wound of some kind.
That's fucking crazy.
You have to have a gentle touch with the chainsaw, I feel like,
does,
though, to just
yeah.
get a little
like,
wound.
Little.
Maybe
ooh.
just a tooth from the chainsaw nicked him. You know what I mean? Because it's like a big chainsaw bite, a gash. Then it's like, you're not running down Spring Street. You're hobbling or you're crawling or something like that.
So they're just sort of like trying to scare him. They forced him to smoke crack.
Okay, that's not too bad.
They dragged
Crack
him.
feels good.
They did drag him up the stairs, movie style, and then like dangle him off of it like he was a Michael Jackson baby. So John Woltz gets arrested. He gets arrested in a bathrobe.
And his penis fell out.
Did it really?
I think it did. I'm not joking. I think his wiener was like, last gasp of free air. You know what I mean? It went out there.
Did the old Lenny Kravitz?
Can you imagine like fucking torturing a guy with a chainsaw in a bathrobe, no underwear on?
I can imagine. Oh yeah, because it's a little bit.
little
That's how you're gonna do
A
it.
little.
I don't think that's how you do it.
Because what if you're torturing him and your dick touches him?
Or it
Is that
comes
what you're wondering?
out.
Oh, your penis falls.
Like the guy that is torturing you has his dick out. That's weird.
If I'm torturing a guy, I want to be comfortable.
Is
that he's got a
comfortable?
point. I would feel uncomfortable. No,
that's
you
what I'm
wouldn't feel.
saying.
I would want some silk boxers on.
Wouldn't you want the security of knowing your dick wouldn't pop out
Due to the
as you were
chainsaw.
doing it? Well, one, close to the chainsaw.
Close to
But
the chain-
two,
that is true.
I just think that you need the captive to respect the captor.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
And you're not going to, if some guy is like, also, if it's an embarrassing situation, which it could be, who knows, about Mr. Woltz's situation, and you're just kind of like showing it around, and the guy's like, I'm sorry, this is a guy who's fucking holding me here.
Maybe it kind of adds to the psychological terror. Like nobody expects a torturer in a bathrobe. You expect like a Nazi uniform or something.
Right, or a Spanish
It's
Inquisition.
like this guy's really crazy.
Yeah, but he's a wang dangling around.
So the other guy who was arrested, he had an accomplice. His name was William Duplessis, who's a Swiss man. A Swiss man?
Swissman.
A Swissman. No, he ended up coming clean. He turned himself in days later. They're both like crypto guys. Waltz was like a Silicon Valley crypto guy. I mean, okay, dime a dozen, but he was involved in some different funds. One point, he was like an advisory member for a bunch of Kentucky legislators who were looking, they do those things where like, how do we implement blockchain in the state systems of computers? And they bring in people to be like, this is how you do it. Let me sell you a bunch of shit you don't need, and makes everyone angry. So he's part of that kind of thing. Duplessis founded something called Pangea Blockchain Fund, which sounds like something we would come up with. Which I think, the internet says at one point was worth 19 million, but if you go to the website now, it says like, we are currently liquidating our positions, which is not something you want to read from a fund. It's unclear how the two met. I'm assuming under, it was like over blockchain stuff. But when they, the cops searched this townhouse and they found crack, chicken wire, body armor, night vision goggles, and then there was like all these, I think, Polaroids of the victim with a gun pointed at his head, and I'm assuming that's like for ransom purposes. But they also made T-shirts with photos screened on them of Michael Valentino smoking crack, and I'm like, is this kind of Hunter Biden? Like, is it
Yeah.
maybe influenced by Hunter Biden, or is that supposed to be part of the, like, we're going to ruin your reputation if you don't give us your Bitcoin move? What is that?
I think I'm gonna be honest with you. This might just be some crackhead shit. You might. So sometimes you do smoke crack. I'm sure you know. Like you. And you just think that, like, you do dumb shit. It's like when you do coke and you're like, I have this business idea that, like, we should make
Pangea blockchain.
Yeah, exactly. But when you smoke crack, you actually kind of gives you a little bit of energy, and you might do some of those ideas. So, like, you could smoke crack and be like, we should make T-shirts of the fucking of our fucking hostage smoking crack, and then you actually can go do it because crackheads are active. You see them looking for stuff all the time.
I wonder where they went. They must have gone somewhere local to get the screen. The
Yeah, it's easy. I mean, I got
I know. I guess
T-shirts
those guys don't give a
screen
fuck what you
They
screen.
did not give
because
because I went to this. So when I got our shirt screen printed, I got like, what was it? President Harris, and it was Hitler, Aryan, racist. I'm sexist, racist too.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was like a shop. It was like
they're
a
just
shop
like,
full
"Give
of
me the
fucking,
money."
I think it was Jamaican guys. And I was like, oh shit. This shirt says I'm racist 3 times on it. And it says Hitler. And they just were like, yeah, $12.
Yeah.
You have like Tim Walsh molested me.
Oh, Tim Waltz molested me. Yeah. Vance molested me too. I had that shirt as well.
These guys, I think they're like very typical Bitcoin guys. They had social media full of like the luxury cars and the Miami lifestyle set. They were like roommates at this house,
Oh my God, they were roommates.
which is crazy.
Because to me, and as we all know this, to me, I'm a Bitcoin millionaire. 0 roommates. I'm sorry, we're getting 0 roommates.
I know.
This
This shit is fake, dude.
This is such a pathetic millennial thing that I'm about to say, but it's not all of the like past markers that people have of like being successful. Like, oh, you have a house, you have a wife, you have 3 cars in the garage, whatever, all that kind of stuff. That's out the window. Now it's how few roommates you have. And so to me, if I'm very successful, 0 roommates.
Yeah, it's crazy. You can't be in a $21 million house
With
and
a roommate?
That's weird. Yeah, they would throw all these like crazy parties, lots of models. This was a quote from it. Lavishing their guests with thousands of dollars worth of booze, including Pappy Van Winkle. Never heard of that one. And I just want
What's
to
Pappy
say,
Van Winkle?
it's whiskey. I just want to say, I
it's
don't care
expensive.
for whiskey guys.
Oh no, not at all.
What's his face done an
Brian.
episode on that?
I think they have, and I
Brian?
think that's where I've heard of Pappy Van Winkle.
I should listen to that. I absolutely hate people that have opinions about whiskey, except for one person who I'm cool with. You don't know them.
I liked when I was drinking. I liked
And
whiskey.
she's a small Asian chick from Canada, so she's cool.
She's drinking a lot. I like whiskey. I liked whiskey. But the thing is, to me, like the fanciest whiskey was when there was a bullet at a place. I was like, ooh, if I was flush, I'd be like, I'll take, because my drink was double in a pint glass, fill the rest with water. No ice.
A bullet?
No, well, that's gonna be like $30. No, it'd be like $12. But no, double well whiskey.
Okay.
In a pint glass, rest filled with water.
Oof.
It's a good drink. Whiskey and water, because people are like, oh, the whiskey is activated by the water. No, I just want to feel the rest of
Activated?
I don't know.
What does that fucking mean?
Whiskey people, they have like special ice cubes. I'm not like that. because the thing is, if it's just not water in it, I'll drink it too quickly. And so if there's water in it, I drink it more slowly.
I just think it's crazy to name something Pappy Van Winkle.
But
It's too whimsical.
Johnny Walker.
It's too whimsical.
Yeah, it's very whimsical.
Apparently, this all turned sinister. They lured Michael Valentino to the house by saying they were actually going to return Bitcoin that they had stolen, which is so they had like a meeting with him. He flew back to Italy, and then they're like, actually, we stole your Bitcoin. We need you to come back. We're going to give you the Bitcoin. And so Michael Valentino comes back,
you don't need to be there in person.
and then they steal the Bitcoin.
It's
or
a
they try to
Wile E.
steal the
Coyote
Bitcoin.
style. Put up a sign. It's like Bitcoin here, and then
Yeah.
just a hole.
But also, Michael Valentino, what are you doing? Weirdly, now this is where it gets weird and very Zort-like. A New York City detective, actually 2 New York City detectives assigned to Mayor Eric Adams' security detail, they're the ones who picked up Michael Valentino from the airport and drove him to the townhouse on Prince Street. And now they say like, oh, we didn't know what was going on there. We were just doing our moonlighting stuff. They're all working off the books for these fucking Bitcoin bros.
And let me tell you, we just talked about this in relation to San Francisco. All of these fucking cops are on the take. They are getting paid. I guarantee you those fucking pigs were getting paid for their regular hours when they were actually working for these Bitcoin kidnappers, because these fucking pigs milk the system like you would never, like it's a goat. It's crazy.
Pig on goat. Husbandry.
I know. I mean, that's what I'm saying though. Have they tried it? Someone had to have tried a pig with a goat.
But it's not just these like crazy, like the cops are moonlighting for all rich people.
Yes.
It's crazy. Andreessen's probably got him going up and down those escalators.
Mm-hmm. There's probably a police officer there shining his little fucking head, spraying a little pepper spray on it. It's. I think we really do have to examine Eric Adams' connections to this, because
here's what I want to know.
he gets paid a salary in Bitcoin.
Does he still do that?
Oh, dude. Who knows? He probably never did that.
Because Bitcoin has gone up a lot
If you
since he announced that, and he probably should.
If you have Eric Adams'
How
Bitcoin
would you even
wallet,
do that?
I don't know.
Fucking assholes.
If you have his Bitcoin wallet, let me know.
What is he gonna do after the election? When is the election?
So the election.
Well, it's a primary election. But
June 24th, I think.
that's right.
It's the 24th. So here's the thing. Both Cuomo and Adams have registered other parties
so that they can run
in the
again
general.
if he wins.
If Zoran wins, or I guess for Adams if Cuomo wins, but I feel like he won't do it if Cuomo wins. I think Adams' other party is like stopantisemitism.com or something.
That's a great
Cuomo's is like straight and narrow or whatever. It's like some bullshit sign like that. I'm like,
those two should run on a tag team ticket.
Made for each other. I know.
It's
Cuomo
so
should make him a
fucking
deputy
crazy.
mayor.
I can't wait to see what Adams does after he's out of here.
He is going to prison.
It would be so funny if he became an abundance guy.
Torres it. Well,
No, he is. But if Adams suddenly was like talking about abundance, I don't know. I think that would be
I'd
a real
love
good
that.
move for him.
okay.
Doggy down. Diva down, doggy down.
I cannot believe this.
Really?
The way that they mistreated a genius, a once-in-a-generation genius like Elon
A
Musk.
South African.
A South African fucking genius like Elon Musk is just despicable
Who's
to me.
they?
The Jews and Trump. The usual suspects. Who else? The Chinese.
The liberals.
The liberals are horrible to him. To Musk.
They won't buy his cars.
And I got to tell you, he has clearly been having a physically and mentally and spiritually difficult week.
Let's talk about him. So if people don't know, Elon's stint as the head of Doggy, as the special advisor within the White House, whatever, special government employee, has come to an end. It is now over. He stepped back. I guess he stepped back on the 5th.
Apparently, I've read that. I
don't know. He had a big exit tour in the past week or so.
Yeah.
And all these press pieces came out about it.
We're talking about the 5th of May, not the 5th of June. Just because I think this episode comes out that day. But apparently, he stepped back on the 5th of May, but it doesn't really seem like it actually meant anything. It's been kind of unclear what his day-to-day responsibilities were in any way. So Doge's, or why am I saying that? Oh my God.
I can't
Fact
believe
check
that.
Brace.
Wow.
Doggy.
Yeah, thank you. Don't do that. I don't like that at
I'm
all.
licking myself.
I really don't like you
Even
doing
though-
animal sounds.
Even though Doggy was supposed to go until the 4th of July, I think the 4th of July, 2026, Elon just couldn't make it. So he made it 130 days as a special government employee. So that is, to be fair, the amount of time he was supposed to be technically working for the government in an official capacity. That doesn't mean that I think there was some sort of, I don't know what, some kind of bureaucratic like hocus pocus they were trying to do at first by being like, oh no, he works for the government, he's a special government employee, but like he's not actually the head of Doggy, which we'll talk about in a second. But that is done now, and I think it was almost like, in retrospect, seems like it was giving him an out if his ADD got too bad.
And trumping out, maybe. He did sound a bit wistful in what would basically like exit interviews in this last like past week that he did. I don't think it's like he didn't really accomplish what he wanted to do, maybe, including like chainsaw / the budget. It's basically everyone knew. I don't know. Everyone said impossible to do without getting DOD and Medicare and Social Security. Though it does seem like he actually accomplished a lot, which I do want to talk about. He also, made a bunch of contradictory promises.
Yeah. He was saying that, like, at certain points, he said he's like, oh, I'm going to spend $100 million in the upcoming midterms. I think that judge election in the Midwest, in which he, like, his side lost, even though he spent a bunch of money on it, kind of soured him a little bit. And then, so he's saying he's going to donate all this money to Trump organizations like PACs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But then I think it was Doha.
Sure, someone.
But it was like one of those fucking
Doggy and Doha?
Doggy and Doha. But it was, it was one of those like forums they do in the fucking Gulf.
They love a forum.
They love a Doha forum. The Riyadh Power Hour.
Yeah.
But at one of these things, like a month or two ago, he said that he was actually going to cut back on political spending and may not spend at all.
Yeah, well.
And so that's when I think a lot of people are like, oh, there's trouble in Trump land for Monsieur Musk.
It does seem like him and Trump maybe had a little bit of a fallout. The New York Times was reporting that Trump called Elon 50% genius, 50% baby, which does it reminds me of one of those like 1970s rhinestone baby tees, that it's like a little like girl, like little like princess being like, I'm 50% genius, 50% baby.
I feel like you could sell that to girls now.
We actually maybe should.
Yeah.
And actually someone probably does on the Venice Beach Boardwalk. This was Elon's quote where he basically, fucking Elon, Doggy is a way of life, like Buddhism. Is Buddha needed for Buddhism? Was it not stronger after he passed away?
I'm always saying that.
Actually, I think.
What the fuck, Elon?
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean,
is he saying that he's passing away? Because
He's picturing Yoda, I think.
I think he really is. It's like actually Buddhism.
I don't think he knows anything about Buddhism or Buddha.
No, well, we actually. Yes, I agree with you. I don't think he does.
Buddha, I am.
He is sort of strangely shaped, as was Buddha. Crazy Buddha wasn't a bit thinner because I feel like back then he was walking so much, mostly eating rice and shit like that.
Well, it's the rice.
It's the rice.
Yeah.
He was just like, I mean, he's kind of trying to make it seem like he was just there to like start it up. Like how he goes into all the companies and he's like, we're going to do this and this and this and this, work in ludicrous mode.
Ooh.
And then you guys kind of like go forth and guess what? Doggy is now successful just like SpaceX and Tesla
Totally.
and fucking whatever else.
Yeah. I mean, I think, some of the stuff in the background is important for context, which is like the midterms are looming. Elon is polling horribly.
People do not like him.
Everyone, and it's like the more people see of Elon, the more people hate of Elon. It's not working.
He's a tough sell.
He's a tough sell. The thing is, he can't actually cut the budget, and the big beautiful bill, triple B, big baller bill, needs to pass, which is actually going to increase the deficit. And this is sort of like, ideological impasse for Elon.
Yeah. So I think to that note, like he has been kind of talking about the BBB a lot.
Yeah. Big
And
baller bill.
I don't think that is very good for Trump.
No, he came out. I mean, he's like, they're both distancing themselves from each other, which is probably advantageous for both. So who knows what's going on behind the scenes?
But do you remember? I mean, it was 2 months ago that there was a fucking Tesla, showroom fucking commercial.
Yeah, a fucking December to remember.
On the fucking White House lawn.
Yeah, happy Honda days.
And then then a bunch of morons tried to make everything his computer, which is not. There's no flow to the quote.
It doesn't work.
There's no flow to the quote for me. There's no flow to the quote. It's not Trumpian enough.
Yeah, I agree.
There's something missing. Je ne sais quoi. But this is 2 months ago. They're out there. They got the red Teslas. Everyone's got all these fucking Republican congressmen and senators or whatever. Like, I'm buying a Tesla this weekend. And now it's like, now he's just going on.
Well, that's the thing, is that it's good for Elon to get away from Trump and try to like rebrand himself as not what he is, which best of luck. And it's good for Trump to get away from Elon because he's a fucking political, like, you know.
People don't like him.
People don't like him. This is what Elon said in one of those interviews. Do you want to read this?
It's not like I agree with everything the administration does. And I was like disappointed to see the massive spending bill. Let me take this in a South African accent. See if they freaking. It's not like I agree with everything the administration does. I was like, see if freaking disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly, which increases the budget deficit, doesn't decrease it, and undermines the work that Doggy team was doing. When this big, beautiful bill came along, it'd be like, everything is done on Doggy gets wiped out the first year. A bill can be big or it can be beautiful, but I don't know if it could be both.
I love where it started,
it's South
went in the
African the
middle,
whole
and
way
then
through,
where
baby.
it ended.
South African the whole
We
way
took
through.
a whole trip around the world there. Yeah, so I mean, you know, you have that, then you have Trump. I mean, and this was like right after this, Trump scuttled Elon's pick to run NASA, which is really interesting. Jared Isaacman, they came out and they said it was due to his prior associations with Democrats, which is like, okay. Also, Isaacman, I do want to say just real quick, biggest ears I've seen in a while.
Really?
Just a little side note. No shade, love big ears, but
wow. It's got a couple of them, huh? Oh, Lord. He'd be great to draw.
Maybe that's why he's up for space.
Look
he
at
loves to
this
fly.
one. They mated him with maybe a bat.
He's listening for extraterrestrial signals.
Extra
He's going up in the
A
air.
one-man SETI
That's
right
SETI,
there. Yeah.
Little-
Lord.
Anyway, but he was Elon's guy. He was trying to refocus a lot of NASA's work toward exploration, but specifically towards Mars. And now it looks like Trump is going to put in more of a DoD pick, which means NASA is going to be more Space Force directed. So away from that kind of more like space mining, Abundance.
Mark Andreessen.
Yeah, but also, fully automated space luxury, whatever. Away from that stuff, away from futurism and towards war with China. So this is like in addition to this new budget, which also is going to kill like dozens of space science programs and is laying off like thousands of employees at NASA. I just want to point that out because it's like very, very sad stuff. Side note that we should mention, the BBB, Big Beautiful Bill, Big Baller Bill. That's all I can see because of Big Baller Brand, by the way.
Yeah.
It's gonna it's gonna be really bad. And I just want to like throw that out there. It's going to like strip close to 14 million people of health insurance and take SNAP benefits away from 4 million people, including kids. And that's just to give people who make $4.3 million a year and up another $400K in after-tax income. I just want to say that, live out for a bit. It's really sucks. It really, really fucking sucks.
So I want to call attention to a part of the BBB, the Big Beautiful Baller Bill, that basically like prevents state regulation of AI stuff, because that is such a sop to like certain members of this coalition. For 10 years, I think it halts state regulation of AI. And again, I'm not an expert on this. It's just something I just read about a little bit and didn't even put in the notes, but I was like, damn, that's fucking...
So that means that all of that can only go through Congress?
Only
or
go through
the government?
Congress.
Or through the executive?
And that means, and like, I mean, these AI guys are spending a lot of money. There's a lot of closeness with like Sam Altman and Musk, obviously, to the government. And so like that, it's just, it's crazy to me.
I think we got to do an episode about robots soon.
I hate this shit.
The humanoids?
fuck the humanoids, fuck the dog. I've said on the show before, start shooting dogs now so that when you see the robot dog coming at you, you don't hesitate.
Dude, get this. This is what's crazy to think about. So it only costs it costs less than $20K to get 4 of those robot dogs and program them to patrol like a property.
Really?
Yes.
Should we get that?
Humanoid robot right now is $16K.
Oh, we
What,
should.
what
No.
can it do though?
It's doing like basic. I think it's like picking up,
Dances?
putting away tasks and things like that. But I don't think it's fully moving into like service stuff yet, and it's like more like on industrial.
I just
but
wanna-
that's what I'm saying. Like even the cost for like companies is so much lower than you think, and it's only getting cheaper. I was doing some. I was getting
I
deep
know.
in some
you
humanoid
were.
stuff.
You read a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm just like, I think stuff that feels like it should have a 10-year time scale is going to have like a 3 to 5 year time scale.
The thing that
or
pisses
2
me
to
off.
3 year time scale.
The thing that pisses me off is like all this talk about reshoring. We're bringing industry back. Oh, patriotic. I cannot say this enough. They want to replace you with robot slaves. They want you to not have a job. You will have no money. Maybe,
yes.
maybe if you're lucky, they'll give you a small stipend so that you can buy shit from them.
But you might have to work for it in a video game.
Exactly. But they want to replace you. They're factory jobs that they want to be so efficient. They don't want you working there. They want the fucking robot slaves working there.
I will say this: there are some jobs that should be automated from robots. And I will, for example,
Mayor.
I was at the airport. These women killing their backs with these fucking bags. No, why not a robot arm to pick up the bag?
Oh, you're talking about like checking bags in?
Yes. Why is that not, and I'll tell you why that hasn't been automated, because the fucking airline companies and our fucking federal government are too fucking cheap to put in actual capital infrastructure that makes sense and work. No one should be killing their backs over these fucking 80-pound Remova luggages that these girlies are bringing with them everywhere.
I want to say something else about luggage.
But that's never going to happen.
I want to say something else about luggage. Sometimes when you fly, you do such a good job. Oh, you know what? I'm going to put it into a carry-on.
Oh, they make you, I know what you're going to say.
They make you check it
Check at the gate.
at the gate just because you're sitting in the back of the plane.
Yeah.
And then you get to the back of the plane, and what do my eyes see? Oh, all empty overhead bins. And when I semi-politely query about this.
I don't think it was a polite query.
It was a polite query.
It was not a polite query.
Why did I have to check my bag if there's so much empty space? They say, oh, it's the weight. It's still on the airplane. You think is the ballast fucked up because a couple of my entire suitcase full of sheepskin condoms is up there? I mean, it weighs nothing. It's crazy to me. Back to doggy. They want a robot slave, and they want you to be the slave of the robot slave.
Here's the thing. When these robots come, which they will, I'm telling you, I will send you a lot
They're
of
coming
material.
soon. They're
I'm going to
coming
send you a
soon.
lot of material for this, whatever we're doing on this. But think of every job that will get done by one of these for less than $25 an hour.
Way less.
And then think about, I was also thinking about, as I was looking at some new AI that was launched for, I don't know, some fucking stupid ass. I mean, look, some of this I'm with, some of it I'm not, but it was some like, agent for like investment research or whatever, some stupid thing. But you think about like the number of companies that would rather rely on that than any middle management. It is like, I still think, I know people think that maybe I get too like, I'm like too deep in I drink the Kool-Aid too much with AI stuff. I don't think we're taking it seriously enough and talking about it enough in our milieu. I will say that. About the potential job loss.
The potential job loss, I think about this all the time.
And trying to talk about what that is actually then going to look like and try to say either we want to save these jobs or fight for these jobs or not fight for those jobs or what.
You will get fired from your menial labor job. You can't drive for Uber anymore because now there's Waymo. You can't become a truck driver, which is the job that most people have in like the most.
You can't
whatever.
learn to code because the robots are doing it.
Can't learn to code because the robots are doing it. Oh, you went to college so that you could get some fucking just accounting job? Robots are doing it.
Yeah.
You think that they're going to make like a thing for you to do?
There's no management growth opportunities because the robots are all the managers now.
Exactly. No, it's going to be like founders, robot slaves, maybe one guy, and then more robot
I think,
slaves.
I saw someone put it this way, and I think it's a really good way to think about it is, do you remember, I mean, we wouldn't because we're too young. But the revolution in the late 90s, early 2000s of the call center
Yeah.
and what that did for reorganizing companies and jobs and where and how, like that's a way to think about it.
Yeah.
Right. And then, you know, as far as like with the humanoid robots go, I don't even think the tech has to be there perfectly for them to
No.
get deployed, because you'll still have people, they'll rely on call center type people in India to like remote control stuff until the tech can get where it needs to be, but they'll deploy them before that.
I mean, this is all of these fucking cocksuckers like fucking Gary Tan and Andreessen, all these people who are like, this is so great, this is so great. All these people are saying is, we want to take your job, we want to foreclose any ability that you will ever have of saving money, of getting even that. Forget buying a house, you and your wife,
boy.
and forget. No. You are going to live with 10 roommates. I mean, it's incredible to me that there's no thought about it. It's progress. Progress for who?
Yeah.
Progress towards what? Is it progress if it just destroy it? It's not like there's with the Industrial Revolution. Yes, it destroyed a bunch of jobs, whatever, reorganized the industry, but people still had to work. You know what I mean? There was still like. Not automation, but like machinery or whatever, like definitely did cut down on the amount of people who had to work places, but there was still work. Everything's still in the final part of it. There were still jobs for human beings.
Yeah.
And this is completely unprecedented. And they
There's going to be a lot less.
Yeah. There's just going to be less.
But for what I see, I say this all the time. I'm going to say it again because we're here in the pulpit. What I see is people, probably because they're scared, and I fucking get that, because it's really, it's difficult to absorb that this is happening like now, basically. Not in the future, it's happening now, right? But instead what I see happening is people putting their hands over their ears or covering their eyes or just saying like, getting out of the conversation, retreating into more comfortable conversations that are more suited for the past.
Yeah.
That are basically rooted in nostalgia.
Yeah.
And it's not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it.
I mean, there'll be a bunch of unions who are like able to prevent because of like political pressure, maybe 10 years. 10 years, maybe.
I don't know.
I mean, depending, I think so.
Depending on the sector.
Depending on the sector, exactly. That's what it's depending on. But I think they're going to see wholesale job loss at zero replacement.
Think about the unions when it's Waymo everywhere.
Exactly. Yeah.
And think about the unions with car production, when car production costs go through the roof. Unless it's like for like people driving.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
And it's also, I mean, the thing is too, unions covers like a fraction of workers in America
course.
anyway. So it doesn't, I think the white collar job loss thing too is also something that we just have not
it's funny.
before.
So a little while, like I was in San Francisco a couple weeks ago and I was talking to a guy at a wine shop in North Beach, cool guy. And he was saying nobody is talking about what's happening in San Francisco, that everyone is like losing their job, like at these tech companies.
Yeah.
And that it's vastly underreported how difficult it is to get a job, people
Yes.
looking, but also like how much, like, at all of these places, how many firms are laying people off. And a lot of it is because of, there's a lot of reasons. And certainly automation is like a part of that. The AI stuff in San Francisco is omnipresent.
I'm sure.
It's crazy. I had never it just like advertised everywhere, talked about everywhere. Like it is, not just the Waymos that are everywhere, but you are very aware that like you are living in a AI future.
Well, speaking of, I think Ripple just donated like 10 mil to the SFPD for AI.
Oh, great.
Like surveillance stuff on people.
Just what we need.
It's back to doggy.
Digression.
Back to doggy. But we'll talk about a little bit of that stuff in a sec. So Musk actually was never technically head of doggy. A woman named Amy Gleason was and is. But there's like a long ProPublica investigation that shows that like she actually has no power. It's all Musk running the show, yada, yada, yada. So I like, all right, the idea was to cut, I think at first he said 1 trillion or 2 trillion?
At first he was like, we're going to cut 1 trillion and Trump is going to bring in 1 trillion from tariff revenue. And then Elon double doggy down on, he's like, actually, we're going to cut 2 trillion, which is absolutely insane and nonsensical. And literally everyone was like, that is not possible. And so it's true. I mean, how much did he cut? He cut about 160 billion, you know. There was a doggy congressional caucus also.
I remember the doggy caucus.
And they haven't really done much. You know, they did a bunch of hearings about cutting funding for public broadcasting, which is basically just like...
Yeah, their big thing is like no more NPR, no more whatever.
I mean, it's like,
PBS,
you know, a lot of this
I
is
guess?
very reminiscent of Reagan. But, you know, that's not... It's like a massive amount of the budget is going to PBS. I mean, it's absurd. It's all just for TV. It's all just for show.
Yeah.
You know, I don't really know how much they got done in terms of the big ideological libertarian Malay style shit that Elon, I don't know if he was actually expecting. Like, I don't know what he kind of thought was possible.
From just like gleaning kind of out of, you know, his difficult sometimes to parse sentences that he sort of omits 2 or 3 words at a time in between shaking his head and sort of glitching out. He seems to be like, it's a lot harder than I thought it would be. And like, you know,
no
actually
shit,
it's
you
so,
dumbass.
yeah, you fucking moron. But world's smartest man.
Couldn't figure it out. Oh.
And well, that's the thing too. It's like he's sort of doing this like retreat into weakness. Like it's like actually the government. It's just so crazy. I just have to throw up my hands. You've been doing this for 3 months, you stupid asshole.
He's 50% baby.
I also
Yeah,
at least.
I just love to like when tech people come in and then they're like, oh, politics is hard. It's like, yeah, get out of here, you fucking moron.
Yeah, I mean it's okay. Okay. So you were able to make like a successful B2B SaaS company. People who make B2B SaaS think that like everything in the world is B2B SaaS. And believe me, brother, I wish it was.
No, I think a lot of stuff is B2B SaaS though.
That's true. Fair enough. But like, I hate this. Cause like, I know I'm really good at some things, not what you'd think, but something even crazier. But I know that like those skills don't translate to everything. I know that I wouldn't be good at everything.
That's why you have to B2B SaaS a lot of stuff.
That's why I am good at B2B SaaS. But it's just, it drives me crazy because it's like, and it's so Elon, right? You know what I mean? $2 trillion. We're going to get I watched the CPAC, you know, fucking spurg out that he did. And he's talking there about the $5,000 doggy dividend checks there. Because we're gonna save so
Remember
much money. Yeah, I love the doggy dividend. You don't hear too much about that anymore.
I spent mine.
Now it's like 160 billion, but like I'm gonna guess it's like half of that, actually.
I know. I mean,
Because he's such a fucking liar.
but also, thank God. I'm like, please don't cut the fucking budget anymore.
Put more debt.
They're already doing so much. Like, you know, I think that like one thing to note is that Elon is leaving Doggy, but Doggy is still going on.
Oh yeah.
So Wired reported that there's like a bunch of Doggy kids that have been meeting with agencies like continually with, you know, with the idea that they're still going to keep doing whatever it is that they're doing, and they're still actively recruiting for the department. There was a quote from somebody at the USDA to Wired, and it says, "This doesn't sound like a group that is going away. It sounds like one that is digging in like a parasite." And so I can see that, like, one, they're going to continue to, like, cut contracts, cut developers, telecom, server admins, call center stuff. Like, they're cutting a lot of federal workers and what they see as, like, fat or whatever. But you can see how the passing off of Elon and, like, some big show of him leaving is, like, good politics for both parties. But like, the shit is still going on. And it really is reminiscent to how Doggy got started, because here what we have now is they've said, okay, Musk is actually just kind of like handing the keys over to Russell Vogt, however you say his name.
Vahout.
And, you know, I think we should, like, it's worth pointing out that when Doggy started, it was basically like a rebrand of Project 2025.
Yeah, exactly.
So people forget this, but back during the election, the blue no matter who types were actually pretty successful at tagging Trump with Project 2025.
Yeah, and Trump was nervous about it too. Like he would say, like, "Oh, I don't know about Project 2025.
Yeah.
I've never heard of it. You know, I'm not doing any of this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, there's some good ideas, but I don't. You know, I'm not adopting it."
Totally. And they had to like really sideline Russell Vought. They kind of sidelined Stephen Miller during the election a little bit to kind of like distance themselves from Project 2025. They're like, that's the Heritage Foundation, but it has nothing to do with us. Bada, 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 bada. You know, it came out about a month before the election that Elon was, you know, in the run-up, he had been meeting a lot with Vought and Miller to kind of get the lay of the land. And then he was funneling all of his money to that Heritage Foundation PAC, right,
Yeah.
through those nonprofits that he had set up. And, you know, I think that, like, there was like a quote from Howard Lutnick during this where it was like right before the election where he was like, you know, that the Heritage Foundation is too radioactive to be front and center to lead up to the election. But at the same time was like standing right next to Elon being like, we're going to fucking slash the budget, chainsaw, bada, bada, ba. You know, so Project 2025, bad polling. Elon and Doggy, it wasn't Doggy yet, but good polling.
Yeah.
And now we're kind of seeing a reverso of that.
Yeah, you're kind of getting back to like letting the pros get in there.
Exactly. And so in a way, Elon did sort of do the I just did the startup thing and now I'm leaving, but maybe not in the way that anyone kind of thinks.
Well, it's reminiscent of the battle over whether to name PayPal X or PayPal. You know what I mean? Like, okay, well, let Elon fuck around for a little bit, but then we're getting back in charge here, which is a good segue to the next little bit of this, which is Palantir.
Yeah.
So first of all, I want to tag. You said he was getting close to Miller. Obviously, we would be remiss not to mention the rumors that Elon Musk is in some kind of.
Do you think that's real?
I don't. No,
I don't
think
think so
either.
either.
I don't think so either.
It's giving they're weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's giving they're weird. I don't think I will say this, but this is kind of when I wanted to mention it. I thought Stephen Miller's wife was a BIPOC. I thought she was a British Indian person of color because that's true. I thought she was Indian. Look at her.
He is really tough to look at.
He's crazy to look at.
I think did she have a nose job?
I mean,
no shade.
But I thought she was Indian.
All right.
She looks Indian in some of these. I think she's just Jewish and from Florida.
Oh, just tan.
She's just tan,
Okay.
which I was a little surprised by because I had sort of just that was how I had tagged her in my mind. She's working for Musk now, though.
He's an awful looking man.
He looks fucked up. He does
Yeah.
look fucked up.
He's
Yeah.
really tough.
But back to the segue. Elon Musk has actually been staying. This is a little bit of gossip. Elon Musk has been staying at Peter Thiel's house while he's been living in D.C. I don't know if it's been reported on, but that's what he's doing. That's his living arrangements there. And Palantir is very much in the news because now it seems like Doggy is, let's say, synergizing with Palantir's increasingly prominent role in the U.S. Government, the system, in all of the databases and they're making a list.
Yeah, it seems clear that the U.S. wants to create like one large database with everyone's information from every agency. As it exists now, if people know this, I think they know this, but maybe you don't think about it
Maybe you don't live
very
here.
often because
Yeah.
why would you? But like every agency has different databases and they don't actually all talk to each other.
Yeah, there's no like master file, they say.
Right.
But there's apparently no master file that every single agency it can like access. That like there is not like a Liz Franzak database where if your department
Because
head or whatever
Transact doesn't exist.
Liz Franzak does not exist. You're right. But there was some laws passed about this. Like this is on purpose. Like the siloing of information is not like a mistake of bureaucracy. Like this was something that was like discussed and debated.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Like, if there are different agencies collect different information, some of it more sensitive than others, and some agencies think about it, under DHS you have both USCIS and ICE.
Yeah.
And yet USCIS regularly collects like biometric information for green card, visa application. Well, I don't know about visa, whatever, for green card applications and such. But ICE can't just like have direct access to that without a court order.
Yeah. Yeah.
For example, because they're a law enforcement agency, but they're all within. Anyway, so you could see why and how this stuff gets siloed. And that's the same thing from the IRS to the DOE to everywhere in between. Okay, so what they want to do is basically kind of like knit together all of the data collection to create. I mean, people say these sort of like individualized profiles for every American, and they want to hire Palantir to do that.
So Palantir's actually already been involved in doggy projects. Back in April, Wired reported on a hackathon.
I can't.
You don't like it?
No, get that away from me.
Code orgy?
Ew.
A little.
I just think about like dirty Sesame Street sleeping bags.
But there's pizza.
There's pizza.
Like, oh my God.
Ayala's coming over later. We've got Ayala coming, Richard Hanania for the
Oh
fellas.
my God. Ayala in the White House.
Dude, Ayala and Hanania.
Ayala goes to Washington is a great idea for her Substack.
I'm sorry to derail us right now, but I sort of had an epiphany earlier today. Not really an epiphany. Maybe I even said this to you guys. But that Curtis Yarvin profile in the New Yorker, right? The reality
That's really
is
amazing. Never agree to be profiled in the New Yorker, by the way.
the reality is, agreed, that there is just a spectrum of these kind of people.
Well, I
The
think that's
Ayala spectrum.
The medical.
No, they're
establishment.
all different, and they're all just different spectrum of Ayala. And so it's like we have Sam Bankman-Fried. Like Sam Bankman-Fried is no different than Curtis Yarvin. They're just like on the different parts
because
of the
they were both
spectrum.
talking about Caroline Ellison.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm like, that's like the thing that I'm like, are you guys, is everyone insane? Like people treat, like, it's like, but they're all the same person. Sam Bankman-Fried, fucking Curtis Yarvin, fucking, well, I don't want to say it because we're going to see him, David Shore. Like all of these people are like the same person,
Yeah.
but on different parts of, well, maybe that's David Shore, but like different parts of it. And so it's like they're
Yes.
all Ayala to me. They're all out of like this greater Ayala nexus. Ayala is like one step away from all of these people. And I think that's really how you should map out that network is how close they are to Ayala because normal people don't know her. You know what I mean? There's no, she's not in a text thread with me. But all of these people sort of orbit around the greats, and I love her, right? But she's like the sun, and the gravity. I don't know how gravity works really, because the sun has something to do with it. But she is like the planet that all of these different freak moons sort of orbit around. That's what it is.
What gets me is just like reading that profile really quick is I hate being reminded of just like the poverty of our like political theory
The
establishment.
poverty of philosophy.
Of whatever it is that America is producing.
Yeah.
Because you read this and I'm like, you fancy yourself a fucking philosopher? Like it's so embarrassing to me. It's so embarrassing to me. Like
It's so-
there are actual people out there who are grappling with real ideas across the spectrum, right? And really dealing with examining and analyzing like I don't know. This is nothing to me. This is nothing. And it's just like, it makes me sad and embarrassed that like, this is what America produces. But this is what America produces.
I mean, just to me, there's like no, you might think you're based and racist for liking Curtis Yarvin. You were just doing like literally, you're doing dark effective altruism. It's like you're all the same to me. It's pathetic. It's fucking pathetic.
Yeah. These aren't real ideas. Like these are not real ideas. I'm sorry. This is not worth anyone's time or energy thinking through any of this stuff.
Well, speaking of ideas, the government's idea is to use a Palantir product called Foundry to merge all the data from these different federal agencies and then sort of like knit it together into a beautiful tapestry of surveillance.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess there's, people are getting kind of spooked by it. There's like a funny thing happening where a bunch of right-wing people are getting really spooked by it, and they're like, "Oh, I can't believe they pulled the rug out from under us. This is like Snowden warned us," or like whatever.
Like, are you fucking stupid? Who do you think your fucking allies are?
I do think, I think there's that like spooky Minority Report feel of it all. Plus, there's the ICE stuff.
Well, that's how they're going to roll it out. That's how they're going to roll it out, and that's how they're going to appeal to like the right-wing people. Is to be like, this is to get illegal immigrants.
But also, they can do that already. I don't know why they need Palantir
They
for
have
that.
the DHS database.
But also,
yeah.
all immigrants that like everyone has to like check in with their phone, and there's like geolocation there. So like this idea that we don't know where the immigrants are is like that's fake news. They're not rounding up the immigrants because they can't find them.
Yeah.
Right. Like I do think like I don't know. Palantir, I just always think of as like based McKinsey. Like that's what they are. And I don't totally buy a lot of the boogeyman stuff with the company. I do think that like centralizing data has other uses, I guess. But like I said, like the barrier for rounding up people, especially in the United States, is like not because of a lack of surveillance.
Yeah.
Or because of like bottlenecks in like data analysis. You know what I mean? Like there's actual hard material and political reasons that make this difficult, which we've talked about, which is like the fucking economy will tank if you round up and deport millions of people.
Yeah.
And not just like the job market, but like think about the housing market in places like Florida, South Texas, Arizona, and Southern California, and who's there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then think about how those markets are collateralized and secured with real estate debt. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not possible. So I think that like so much of the Palantir stuff, I don't know. I also think that like when we think about like the like spooky surveillance stuff, it's mobile phones and cloud computing, which is like what Palantir is. Like Foundry is basically from what I could read, is like an overlay on Amazon Web Services, and then does have other stuff, but I guess a lot of like devs complain that it's like, you sell it to like, it's expensive stuff that enterprise software you sell to executives that don't really know better.
Mm-hmm.
And that maybe you can do some stuff with it that's interesting, but like it is great for selling to, say, the federal government because it's like a big hefty contract, and that's what the federal government loves, despite what Doggy says, I guess. But when you think about like the next wave of surveillance, I mean, it's all in satellite.
Yeah.
It's not mobile or cloud.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not just that. It's like actual satellite stuff. So I don't know. I don't fully buy a lot of the Palantir shit. I guess it's good for
Like you think it's like Palantir. It's like how like there has to be a mystique around these companies like Black Cube or whatever, which I mean they're bad
Black Cube
people.
is like crazy.
Yeah, that's true. But like it's a little bit of like Silicon Valley kind of like puffing up.
I do. I mean, that's the vibe I get.
Yeah.
And I don't really see them as this sort of like the evil Sauron. I guess that's kind of, isn't that part of what they're...
I don't remember enough of
know.
Lord of the Rings to actually remember what Palantir is, but it's like an orb that can see everything. I think it's used by Saruman, which is crazy name choice. Obviously, everyone knows that, but Saruman is like the other evil guy. He's
Wait,
like
Sauron and Sauron?
Sauron is the main evil guy. Saruman is like Dark Gandalf, who lives in the tower.
Okay.
And he like gets Gandalf to come there, and then he like fucks with him.
That was Christopher Lee, right?
I don't remember. I think so, yeah. But I mean, my thing is, I'm just against this because I want to stymie the federal government into from doing anything.
No, I'm not saying I'm like not against it. I'm just saying I think that a lot of people go like, ooga booga Palantir, ooga booga. And I think like, I think that maybe they're just, I don't know. I think a way to think of them is like based McKinsey.
Yeah.
Like it's just, they're another big company. People love their stock. It's a meme stock,
It is now a meme stock.
much like Tesla is. And so they benefit from a lot of branding like this. And, of course, they benefit from having someone like Elon in there to get them these big government sinecures secured.
Yep.
But other than that, I don't know if they're any scarier than something like Booz Allen.
And well, the reality too is that like I do think that there will be some major lawsuits about this because kind of what they're proposing or what's been like talked about is it could happen with this is like completely illegal.
Yes, it's absolutely illegal.
Completely illegal.
Congress has to get off its fucking ass.
And I just don't think
Best
that
of
this
luck.
will. I know the clowns in Congress. I just don't think this will get far enough. But this will happen eventually. There will be like a federal
I do
database on
agree.
every single person with all of your data, top to fucking bottom, and it probably will be built by Palantir or some company like that. Some other evil like other evil company that starts from like ex Palantir software engineers or whatever. I just hope that Teal has one of those like fisting accidents or something. You know what I mean? Someone grabs a liver because he, you know.
Ew.
Well, I don't hope he does because I want him to live forever. But I'm just saying that it is a possibility considering what we know. So okay. As if Musk has not been shit on enough by these ungrateful creeps in Washington, the New York Crimes has written an article saying that he maybe pees himself. There is a big new New York Times article out about, I mean, at this point, it's a little bit old news, but we're going a little in depth on it, about Musk's habit of drinking and drugs, including a reveal of a new East meets West style baby. So, okay. A lot of the article talks about Musk kind of being more fucked up than anybody really thought.
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise. You know all of those insane clips of him like tweaking out?
And everyone being like, he's on drugs.
Turns out, I think he's on drugs. So I want to go through some of the drugs that Musk has sort of like talked about throughout his career in many interviews and things like that. And just kind of like figure out, because we're going to narrow down a little bit on ketamine here, but I want to kind of cover all of them. So Musk somewhat famously does not enjoy alcohol. Though in a 2014 Reddit AMA, he says he does enjoy a nice glass of whiskey. Liz? He also drank whiskey and, of course, smoked a joint in his infamous 2018 appearance on Rogan. I rewatched that, and it is a difficult.
You've rewatched it?
I did. I'm actually going to play it for you right now. We got to play some audio for it. It's a kind of a tough watch.
So is that a joint? Or is it a cigar?
No,
Okay.
it's marijuana
it's
inside
weed.
of tobacco.
Oh, okay. So it's like pot tobacco
Yeah,
posh.
you never had that?
Yeah, I think I tried one once.
Come on, man. You want some of that? You probably can't because of stockholders, right?
I mean, it's legal, right?
It's totally legal.
Okay.
How does that work? Do people get upset at you if you do certain things? There's tobacco and marijuana in there. That's all it is. The combination of tobacco and marijuana is wonderful. First turned onto it by Charlie Murphy and then reignited by Dave Chappelle. There you go.
Plus whiskey.
Haha, exactly.
Perfect. Balances it out.
I mean,
I'm a firm believer in
alcohol's a drug. It's been grandfathered in.
that. Well, it's not just a drug. It's a drug that gets a bad rap. Because if you just have a little, it's great.
Fine.
I love that. Okay, so much to talk about.
Wow.
But really quick, I just want to say that the Democrats watch that and are like, we got to have this. We can't exist without this. How can we crack the code
We're going to spend $50 million.
on this fucking...
I don't understand how Rogan is like, people do respect him as a guy because he's such a dick sucker, dude. Like, he's just like, how can you be chilling with Musk right then and be like, this guy's fucking cool? Like, and then you're like trying to name drop Charlie Murphy. That's so shoehorned in. You got turned on to blunts by Charlie Murphy. Oh,
and
yeah.
Dave Chappelle.
And Dave Chappelle reignited. My love. Dave Chappelle got. Oh, what are you, stupid? There's like 3 ways to smoke weed for most of weed's tenure. Dave Chappelle got you into blunts? What are you talking about? Hey, it's like yeah, I got into fucking glasses, whiskey glasses from Hunter S. Thompson. Are you stupid? I mean, he's such a like. This is actually I always see this with Rogan, and he just name drops over and over.
I know.
Right before this, he was like, Yeah, when I was hanging out with Neil deGrasse Tyson, which by the way, he likes, it's like, you are pathetic.
Also, I'm sorry. That is weird.
He's
Why
not-
would you hang out with him?
He tells this anecdote. He loves guys, like he used to. Maybe he's too libtarded for him now. But he tells this anecdote where Neil deGrasse Tyson doesn't have a case on his phone. Because he's like, oh, Elon, you like live dangerously. You don't have a case on your phone. Which, by the way, I didn't either until last week for years. But then I just cracked my screen too many times. I had to replace it 3 times in 1 month, and I'm done. I got a phone case. But he's like, yeah, Neil deGrasse Tyson kind of like fucked with his phone all the time so that he can train his reflexes to grab it if he drops it. What are you talking about? Are you a fucking idiot? Neil deGrasse Tyson. What are
First
these
of all,
people
if that's
talking
true,
about?
find a new hobby.
Well, these
Neil
people are
deGrasse Tyson.
stupid.
I fucking
get it.
love science.
That's like, get a new hobby. Spend your time literally doing anything else. It's so easy. Just put a case on your phone, and then you freed up your time to do anything else.
Anything else. So I think something important there is that Musk does not inhale.
Yeah, you can't see it because this is a podcast.
You might have seen it. It's a fairly
No, I'm just
famous
saying
clip.
this is audio.
But it's clear that like Musk is
He does not inhale.
He's not a veteran chuffa.
He does not inhale.
He does not inhale. And he just kind of like puts it in his mouth, and like, he doesn't even seem very like
Clinton
good
style.
at smoking anything, let alone weed.
He seemed very confused.
And so it did cause him a lot of trouble. Rogan was right.
He's also drinking whiskey, by the way, with like fridge ice cubes, like from the made by the refrigerator in a stemless wine glass.
Oh, so you think that?
I just think it looks weird.
Interesting, Liz. So you think
I
that
would rather
whiskey
it
guys
be-
are lame, but you're like, but you need a big
I don't.
ice cube.
I think if you're gonna drink whiskey in a stemless wine glass on a video podcast, I'm gonna make fun of you.
Here's how you do it: you drink a whiskey with
put it in a
bunch
paper cup.
vodka ice cubes in there. Put that together. Put a little margarita mix in there.
How could you make? Can you make vodka ice cubes?
I don't know. I don't know how.
Vodka doesn't- does
we
it
don't
freeze?
fucking love science enough. It probably
I think if
doesn't.
it gets cold enough.
I don't know if it gets
thought
cold
vodka
enough.
doesn't
Or at the
freeze.
pressure.
Or maybe, I don't know, watermelon? They put in the watermelon sometimes? Tequila? I don't know. Whatever. He does not inhale or seemingly know what a spliff is, but he recovers and pretends like he does.
And then just looks wistfully at the whiskey wine glass.
I know, he loves to swirl it around. So we know that, of course, he likes alcohol a little bit, but not so much.
Well,
But his fondness for red wine is well known. Liz, would you read just a couple of the tweets that he's made about it?
I almost never see the sun and drink coffee, mostly for the hell of it. Has almost no stimulant effect on me. Alcohol doesn't do much, but I love the aesthetics with an E of red wine. So he misspelled aesthetics, one. Also, what do you mean drink coffee mostly for the hell of it? Do you mean for the taste? What do you mean the hell of it?
The hell of it.
Do you-
Just for the
do
hell
you
of
like
it.
if you feel like you don't get little bit of an upper from the caffeine, so is it the taste? Is it just like the ritual? The hell of it? Who the fuck says
His
this?
favorite drink, by the way, you're definitely not drinking it for the caffeine. And if it did have no effect on you, then your favorite drink wouldn't be Diet caffeine-free Coke. It would just be Diet Coke.
This is what he says too. I don't like the taste or effects of most alcohol, but there's something quite beautiful about red wine in a fine glass.
And you might know this one because of the famous reply to it.
Sure.
I remember pouring you, this is from Peter Pham. I remember pouring you a glass at a friend's house in SF after another mutual friend's wedding in 17. I was decanting another. You didn't want to wait. Honey Badger drinks when he wants.
Honey Badger drinks when he wants.
Honey Badger drinks when he
With
wants.
laugh cry emoji.
Laugh cry emoji.
Sideways.
And then the final sentence
swastika.
we know that it is the swastika. I made the clutch move of ordering us pizza at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
By the way, all 1 a.m. options for pizza in San Francisco. I don't know how it was in 2017, but it probably was
Domino's?
the same. Horrible. No, it was like Mr. Pizza. It was disgusting. The pizza you could get at 1 post 10 p.m. in San Francisco was disgusting. And then this final tweet, which leads us into the next thing.
A little red wine, vintage record, some Ambien, and magic.
A little red wine, vintage record, some Ambien, and magic.
That sounds like you're gonna rape somebody.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
is
no,
that
it sounds
what the magic is?
it's the rapist credo.
Who's
A
like,
little- it's the motto of the Rapist Guild. A little red wine, vintage record, some Ambien, and magic. What's his Phil Spector? That's a Phil Spector special. and a gun.
Vintage record is such a funny
Vintage
construction.
record.
Like
There's new records.
Yeah,
but
it doesn't matter like
yeah.
what type of music it is, but it's a vintage record.
It's a vintage record.
It was a
No, but
vintage record.
this I'm sure because I'm sure he hired someone to buy him a record
Right.
collection.
I don't even think. I bet he does have some, but like, there's no way. I don't. Of
course,
does he
he
listen
has-
to music?
Yes, I guarantee you he's like, when I, putting together this house, we need someone to pick out the art and pick out the record collection because we'll have that in the stereo and we'll put that on and it'll be a vintage record
Go to
collection.
Urban Outfitters.
Yeah,
get some
totally.
vintage records.
So he mentions Ambien there, and we need to mention Ambien here. Apparently, due to his inability to sleep, he has been relying on
Now,
Ambien.
why can't he sleep?
Huh,
Is it the caffeine?
The coffee has no effect on me. Cup after cup after cup after cup. Pissing, and which we'll get to. Cup after cup. Oh, I can't sleep. It's because I'm too good at working. That's what it is.
I'm just too good at staying up.
Oh, I'm so good at staying up. Listen, I say this as somebody with sleep problems. I ain't drinking a cup of coffee after 2 p.m.
You should cut it and do it a little earlier.
That's not how caffeine works.
It does.
I fucking love science, Liz. I know how it works. It does not work like that.
Well, you might be able to go to bed earlier.
I don't interfere in your life much.
Yes, you do.
I do in ways that you'll never know. But I sort of act as a guardian angel for you in crazy
No, I
ways.
see you creeping.
Nope.
I see you in the bushes.
I am. I keep watch. The sentinel does his duty, but you don't need to interfere in my personal life. You already made it so I had to change significantly some of my more bizarre sexual mores, and of course some of the physical activities that I do to keep myself healthy, which you said was doing the opposite. And I've put all of those are done. All of those are done. It's just a diaper for no longer for pleasure, but only for practicality. He's taken a lot of Ambien at various points, and the Ambien has been mentioned not only by Musk but by shareholders as well. And it seems that like there was such a problem that Elon genuinely was like taking Ambien. This is like 2017, 2018.
Yeah.
He was taking Ambien and like tweeting and shit.
Yeah.
Now, the time I once took Ambien on a flight back from Australia in 2009, and it was the first time I'd really seen a lot of Orthodox Jewish people, and I was surrounded.
In Australia.
I guess there's a bunch in Australia, but it was coming back to the West Coast, and
Interesting.
I was in a row between two of them, two little guys, and they were freaking me out. And I was ordering wine because I was 18. I thought they would serve it to me because it was something that like a 21-year-old would order, and it worked for about half the flight. And I got drunk.
And then they're like, sir.
And I was on the Ambien, and I was like, what the fuck? Because the kids were like praying in that crazy, you know what I'm saying? Rocking back and forth.
Davening.
Yeah. And they got the boxes on and shit. They got the little Mecca back box on their heads.
To fill it.
And they got the little fucking hats on. And I'm like, what? Because they're little guys and shit. And so they were rocking back and forth. And I was like, is the plane going to, they know something I don't know? Why they're praying so hard? But I was going crazy on the Ambien. And I jacked off in the bathroom. But I did, because it was a long flight, and it's just, I was 18.
What?
Yeah, I jacked off in the bathroom of the airplane. It's a
Ew.
lot.
You mentioned it before, but you didn't say specifically when and where it was.
Well, I was on drugs.
I know,
Liz.
but
Cool. So bring up wounds of the past. Noted.
I've never taken Ambien.
Well, it makes you do crazy stuff if you stay up on it. And
Weren't people like driving on Ambien?
yeah, I mean, I think so. I don't know.
No, like waking up and going and driving.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Like
yeah, I
sleep
think it can
driving.
make you. I think if you don't go to sleep, I don't know if you wake up and do stuff, but I think if you don't go to sleep, I've since taken it for sleep before, although
Yeah.
not because I don't want to get addicted to it. I've been prescribed it for short periods of time, and it works, but it's addictive, and I think it makes you do crazy stuff if you stay up. But I've never really stayed up on it. But it makes you like hallucinate or whatever. I don't know. But he was tweeting a bunch. And so this is the thing. This is like 2017, 2018. And this is around the time of the infamous funding secured at 420 tweet.
Yeah.
That was also in 2018. So I think it was like, this is when he really started experimenting with drugs. And I have to say, and we get a little hint of this from the text message we're about to read, but I do think a lot of it was made to impress Grimes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that Rogan was his, like, got him into this stuff?
Gateway.
I mean, there was another pretty long article in the New York Times about how like his brother and some Burning Man guys got him into this shit, like onto mushrooms and MDMA.
No, but even just like, remember when, because he doesn't inhale when we watch that video with Rogan.
No, he does
But he
not.
does like start smoking weed
Yeah.
around this time. Because
So
there's this text here from Grimes.
So this is from Grimes to Azalea Banks. And could you read the text?
And he just got into weed because of me. And he's super entertained by 420. So when he decided to take the stock private, he calculated it was worth 419. So he rounded up to 420 for a laugh. And now the SEC is investigating him for fraud. Cool! Exclamation point. Well, that bodes well. First of all, babe, if your man is getting investigated by the SEC for fraud for a funding secured tweet at 420 because he starts smoking weed because of you, do not fucking text about it.
Your 48-year-old boyfriend
Do not
starts smoking
fucking
weed.
put that shit in writing. If you are being investigated for fraud, do not put anything saying, haha, I did fraud in writing.
Grimes, you need to come on this show. I know we've said some things that could probably be construed as unkind to you.
But I think we should talk about it with her.
I think we should talk about it with you in the spirit of honesty, because she's a little bit Ayala too. We should.
100%.
She's a lot bit Ayala. They know each other for sure.
No, it's not
There
crazy.
is just an Ayala network and undergirding all the craziest parts of this country.
True.
I do think it's true. I genuinely do. Like
Maybe we should map it.
the Ayala network. And we need no disrespect to Ayala. We love her. We love her.
I don't want her on the show.
Don't want her near me.
No,
or
because
my
I
loved
also
ones.
don't want to be like, first of all, that would then place us in the network,
Yeah.
which
put up
that cannot be.
a lot of air fresheners in here.
Oh.
I like the way the air is just fine.
Yep.
So when this was all when this came out with the suit, he denied all of this in front of a jury during the, there was a class action suit by Tesla shareholders over this exact thing. And this is what he said, okay? He said, there is some, I think, karma around 420. I should question whether this good or bad karma at this point. This is kind of him doubling down that the 420 funding secured was a reference to some concept in Hindu mythology about karma.
So listen, as we all know, I am an Edward Said, forgive me, an Orientalist in the classic sense. You know what I'm saying? I go there, I'll wear the fez. I indulge in the
You don't even need to go there to wear the fez.
I wwear it in the home. But I indulge in many ancient practices, both small, little, and large, arcane and mundane.
Sting-like.
I go there, I wear the sari, I wear the sarong. But I'm not an expert. I'm just a dabbler.
No.
And so I was like, is there anything in the ancient practices of Hinduism or even Buddhism,
Which actually, didn't really get started until after he
after
died.
Buddha passed,
420, I smoke.
about 420? And there is not. But then I did find in India, 420 is actually slang. The slang term is actually chowar, which is chawar, four, which is the same in, I think, Persian and Kurdish. Char, Sao B, which is literally 420. It's like saying the numbers. And it's in reference to a scammer. It's a slang word for scammer. Is Hindi, I guess, 420. And it's a reference to Section 420 of the Indian Penal Code, which is, can you read this?
Whoever cheats and thereby dishonestly induces the person deceived to deliver any property to any person or to make, alter, or destroy the whole or any part of a valuable security or anything which is signed or sealed and which is capable of being converted into a valuable security shall be punished with imprisonment or either description for a term which may extend to 7 years and shall also be liable to fine.
So I guess that is the closest we can find to a Hindu connection to 420.
But that is... So in a way, it is kind of karma.
I know.
Because that is Elon.
Yes.
He is a cheat and a scammer and dishonest.
Well, and he likes to get, he likes to have a good time. So this is from a 2024 article in the New York Times. I think it was from 2024 about his party schedule.
Ladies, if your man has a party schedule, leave that man.
Leave that man.
No
Ladies,
man.
leave. Men are trash. Men ain't shit, Liz. We should have one of those podcasts where it's like me versus 6 OnlyFans women, but I'm just agreeing with them. You're right. Men are fucking shit. They don't get it. You know what? You need to be making at least $380K to be with me. That's my favorite thing that people get mad about. They love seeing a woman in a bikini that's drunk outside of like a club on Miami Beach at 3 a.m. say that you need to make at least $400,000 a year in order to be with her. They love to get so mad about it.
So this is from the New York Times. Mr. Musk likes to share a chart explaining that MDMA and mushrooms are better for human health than alcohol, according to one person he showed it to on a laptop while on vacation. Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up. So he's taking MDMA. He's taking
like the
mushrooms.
worst fucking hang, dude.
I know. He's horrible. But he's also taking Adderall. This is from the New York Times article, the new New York Times article on his drug use and sexual use.
He traveled with a daily medication box that held about 20 pills, including one with the markings of the stimulant Adderall, according to a photo of the box and people who have seen it. Hold up. That means New York Times has a photo of the box. Publish the photo.
Give us, New York Times, if you're listening to this.
Which I know you are.
Give us, some of you are, give us the photo. I know drugs by sight. Give me the photo.
Oh, you think there's other... Oh, yeah, 20 pills.
20 pills.
Yeah, you could identify all those.
Tramadol.
You're the fucking, like...
Ambien.
You're like the...
Pill finder. I'm a human pill finder.
No, yeah, you're the Google Maps guy, but for drugs.
Yeah, no, that's Pill Finder. That's a website that I've never used.
But it's the
before.
guy. It's mean.
I know what you mean. So this is very interesting that he has Adderall because, first of all, stimulants don't affect him. But he's also railed against Adderall many times on X, the Everything app. In 2023, he actually replied to Mademoiselle Ashley St. Clair that Adderall is an anger amplifier. He said it was best used sparingly or not at all.
An anger amplifier?
There is definitely both opiates and speed, of course. He is right about that. I mean, it's not really an Elon observation, but like,
I hate the way he
if you're pissed off,
best used sparingly or not at all. Shut the
he
fuck
talks
up.
like
Human
he
Reddit.
talks. You know what he talks
Yeah.
like? He talks like a little kid writing fan fiction dialogue.
Yes,
That's
or
what he
like
talks
little
like.
kid like has just won president of 5th grade.
Yeah.
and is now like, my proclamation
Yes.
is this, and I am going to rule magnanimously.
His syntax is all fucked up. It's not.
Best used sparingly or not at all. Next.
Big Bang Theory, young Sheldon Ness.
So this is a more recent tweet about Adderall. And he has a bunch of them. They all say the same thing. This was directed at Ian Miles Chong, who is like a sort of, I guess, husbandry, a product of animal husbandry itself, because he seems to be the product of a Malaysian and perhaps some kind of disgusting wild boar.
He's
This is what Ian Miles Chong.
This
I'll do
isn't really
Ian.
funny.
I'll do Ian.
okay.
Oh. Joe Biden is only coherent when he's angry. Why is that?
And
That
then
was Jabba, not Asian.
Elon replied, in all seriousness, I suspect Adderall. It adds coherence at the cost of anger.
Elon, my brother, you are on Adderall. Maybe you don't even know. Maybe one of his fucking little, maybe one of those Optimus robots pops in his mouth every morning. He doesn't even look at the.
Or he's like blown out his synapses so much that he doesn't remember fucking anything.
Well, now we got to get to the main, the chunk that I want to talk about a lot, because the article mentioned several times that Elon Musk has problems with. Well, can you just read this out?
He had actually developed a far more serious habit, the Times found. Mr. Musk has been using ketamine often, sometimes daily, and mixing it with other drugs, according to people familiar with his consumption. The line between medical use and recreation was blurry, troubling some people close to him.
So his first mention of ketamine that I could find comes from 2021 in the form of a meme. So the meme is one of those amazing memes that have Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth freaking Warren.
Oh my God, remember that?
Yes. And Elon says,
In 2021,
2021, I know.
it's
feels a
too
little-
late.
yeah.
Late to everything. This man is late to
He
everything.
loves a meme. Can you imagine the meme folder on Elon's phone?
I would like to see his meme folder.
The tweet says, his stance on ketamine was bold. And then it's Elizabeth or Bernie. And it's like, be informed, compare them on the issues that matter. And the issue is ketamine. And under Elizabeth Warren, a picture of her, it says ketamine is for horses. And then under Bernie, it says humans can have a little ketamine.
Great meme.
Great meme. Great meme. Wow. So apparently Elon Musk began taking ketamine by prescription in 2022 or 2023. You remember when all those, I feel like there were scam clinics or like ketamine clinics everywhere.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was like the weed shop extravaganza here in New York. There was, I remember, and I was in LA, and there was like a fucking freeway sponsored by one of them. You know, like a one of those things. They got a sign on the side of it. They were at their peak during this period. The ketamine clinic, something like 600 operating in the U.S. Ketamine, though, and should be reminded, is not and wasn't then, still isn't, FDA approved for mental health stuff. And so all this is out of pocket, and I don't think there's much regulation. I do think...
What's the Maha stance on this?
Well, you know, I'm pretty sure that Kimball Musk's wife is like a ketamine, like she's part
girly.
of some...
Ketamine girly.
But I think she's like part of some like nonprofit or whatever lobbying group that's like trying to get it legalized. What's the what on this stuff?
The Maha stance.
They're taking this shit.
Well,
For sure.
they don't give a
They're
fuck
taking
about
this shit.
FDA.
Ketamine is good.
Yeah.
I like the way it makes bitches more sexual.
No, he doesn't.
I think it makes bitches reflect.
I feel like you go, it's like, you do a little bit more.
As long as there's no seed oils in the ketamine.
I'm going to say something a little crazy right here, and I hope you'll forgive me. I think about this a lot. Heroin is a drug for black jazz guys, all Mexicans, and all white people. Fentanyl is a drug for all races. Methamphetamine is a drug for white people. Cocaine is a drug for all races and genders. I should be clear here. Crack. I'm sorry, you don't want, I'm not going to say it. Ketamine is for transgenders. I didn't mean anything by that. That's just something I think about. I can have a more refined version of that at some point.
So we should say that Elon mentions that he uses ketamine a bunch in the that interview he does with Don Lemon. Remember Don Lemon?
Yes.
R.I.P.
In a way.
Yeah, he's gone though. He's
Did he try to come back as based Don Lemon? I can't remember.
Probably. I think he's probably made some attempts.
I think what the arc is you get canceled for something, and then you go based, and then you go abundance.
That is. Have we missed? Can we still get on the train? Is it stopping in stations near us?
I don't think so. Not unless we cut that red tape. See, I'm trying here.
Yeah, there we go. Don Lemon was offered a show on X. Remember they were trying to make shows on X go down?
Very briefly.
That did not work. They were like trying to attract talent to do their shows on
They can't even
X.
attract people to post.
No, it's all fucking bots.
It's so empty on there,
It's
by the
crazy.
way.
I genuinely estimate upwards of 80 to 90% of users on X are bots.
I gotta get. What do I gotta look at? Blue Sky? This shit is.
I'm
awful.
never looking at that. I'm never looking. After what I just said,
I know.
I'm never going on
But
Blue
I can't
Sky.
really handle Substack either.
That's different. That's like not. That's for long form.
No, they have a feed.
I'm not looking at that. What do I give a fuck? Oh, here's the new novel. You know, I don't care. No, they need to make another website.
Yeah.
No, they don't. I'll never say that. They don't. We should use Threads. I just keep looking at Twitter because that's where things are happening. But
Well, it's the everything
Don
app.
Lemon was offered a basically like given a deal with Twitter, and as like part of that, one of his first interviews with Elon. But it went so badly that Elon canceled the deal. So he mentions his little ketamine shit during the interview, and it's funny because I'm like not sure what Elon thought they would be talking about, but he like gets pissed off that he's asked about this.
Do you think you're inebriated when you do ketamine?
No, if you do a lot of ketamine, then you're inebriated. If you do a small amount, you're not.
Thus my question about do you ever abuse it? That's why
I don't think
asked.
so.
Yeah. So how often do you take it?
Well, it'd be like a small amount once every other week or something like that.
I don't think so. I mean, if you use it under the care of a doctor and it's prescription, they usually tell you how often to use it, so you wouldn't be able to abuse it.
I mean, I did kind of feel like sometimes I think I know it's Elon and he forgets like you are the chair of like many public companies. Like, I don't know if this CEO can be out there being like, I suffer depression.
Yeah.
With that, it's
Clinical
just funny.
depression.
It's such a different
clinical depression.
It's just such a different like situation because it's Elon and it's Tesla and all these things. But like in any other situation, like shareholders would be like, and it's time for you to go.
Put the brakes on that.
But this
motherfucker.
stuff only helps in a lot of ways, which is what's so topsy-turvy about Tesla.
And this is kind of the I would say the more the delicious whipped cream on top of this article. His bladder issues.
I mean, the man's doped up.
Yeah. So the New York Times says Mr. Musk told people that his ketamine use was causing bladder issues, according to people familiar with the conversations. So this must be ketamine cystitis, also known as ketamine bladder syndrome. I've taken ketamine, I want to be clear, one time. I don't remember if I peed or whatever I did. I mean, I would have absorbed it with the special undergarments that I wear. But I don't remember having to pee or anything. But I think it's in fact, I know that with chronic use of ketamine or abuse of ketamine, that can cause significant problems to your ability to pee like a normal person.
Wait, really?
Yes.
That's crazy.
It's like the common side effect.
No, I didn't.
I watched a bunch of
people know about this?
Yes. Yeah. It's like pretty, frankly, common among
Is it
ketamine.
reversible?
Yes.
So
have
if
to-
you stop using it, you can pee again normally.
Yeah, I mean, I think your body might have to heal a little bit,
Sure.
but it is reversible. Yeah.
That's
I mean,
crazy.
unless you really keep going past a certain
And then
point,
it's
maybe
chronic.
not. You severely damage your bladder. I think it would become chronic. But I read several studies on this. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos of people talking about their problems with it. It's a big thing.
Huh.
And I know a lot of motherfuckers who abuse ketamine, and I'll have to ask them about this because I'll be like, "Are you
on the ground research?
Are you pissing a lot?"
Well, you don't. I don't think you have to say it that way.
How else would I say it? Are you peeing? Are you peeing a lot? How frequently do you urinate? You want me to say that, Liz?
So these are the only options. I love that one.
Yeah, dude. Yes. How else would I ask it?
I
Tell
love
me
that.
this.
I'm like, I don't think you should ask it so weird. And you're like, oh, you think I should ask it weirder?
No. If you don't give me something constructive, how should I ask it?
Hey, I've been reading all this stuff about ketamine abuse.
How's your pissing?
Does it make you pee weird? Because that's what I've been
This
reading.
is more fucked up than I could ever. I've been
No,
reading a lot of stuff about ketamine abuse.
for the show.
Yes, I know, but still, I'm not trying to imply that they're abusing ketamine. I'm trying to imply that they pee a lot because they're abusing ketamine. But I'm going to use.
Is it just that you pee a lot, or is it that it goes funky?
Yeah, I'll do that. So ketamine damages your bladder a little bit, but obviously the more you use, it kind of can damage it a lot of bit. So Liz, are you familiar? Do you know what bladders are? They're amazing things.
I feel like you should tell me about it.
So they're about the size of a grapefruit.
Okay.
But much like a goatskin condom, they can actually expand depending on how they're filled. So they're sort of like, it's like a wineskin or something. You know what I'm saying? Like a Spanish wineskin you drink in the mountains near Andorra. But they start at about, I think it's like 400 milliliters is the normal one. They get up to 600 milliliters, which is the size of a water bottle. So you might have a full. I'm holding one right here with Grogu on it. I got the Star Wars Smart Water.
Did you pick that one out special?
No, they just had this. I actually don't. I'm like, is this even smart? No, it's Water Co. It's just meant to look like a Smart Water.
Prescription I have.
Yeah, it was just at the corner store. But it can get. That's crazy because put this next to you. It feels crazy. Put that one next to you. But that's in you right now. I have to pee right now, so my shit's
Women
full.
feel this a lot.
That blows my mind. Check this out, though. With chronic ketamine use, that water bottle, that 600 milliliters you have, can get down. Your bladder can literally shrink to 50 milliliters.
Why does it shrink your bladder?
I don't know.
Oh.
That is the size of a shot glass.
So you just have no bladder.
Every 10 or 15 minutes you have to pee. You can wake up. I read case studies. You can wake up dozens of times a night The little
Well,
sac.
why do you think he's so sleepless?
That's what I'm saying, dude. I think that he can't sleep because he has to wake up 15 times a night because he's fucking pissing because his bladder is the size of a fucking thimble now.
You know what fixes this?
Another bladder.
Diapers.
That is genuinely true. And I have good reason to think he actually might be using them. Another symptom is dysuria. This basically means it hurts to pee. We've all felt this, right? At some time in our lives?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't think you'd answer that. I felt it when I had
think
a male...
all women are familiar with issues.
And I thought I was judgmental. Check this out. I thought I was judgmental. And I was like, women always complain about hurting to pee, but I don't respect them.
Yeah.
And then I felt it myself. I walked a mile in another man's shoes, in another man's moccasins even.
Perhaps a woman's shoes.
Yes, in a woman's pumps. 3 inches, stiletto.
You could only make it a block.
And I could. There's no way I
Half
can make
a
it a block.
block.
Are you kidding me?
I would you know what? I would like to see this.
I'll give it a shot.
Really?
Yeah, Tootsie.
Let's see if
Tootsie
you can do
Velvet?
half a block.
Okay, I of course have size 15 feet, so I don't know if I could fit into your high heels, but I'll try some out. I'll try it.
I like
in
the
front
idea of
you.
the guy who's 5'4" with size 15 feet.
Yeah, hobbits. Those are hobbits, famously. But when I got a
little
male
Daffy
yeast
Duck.
infection a couple of years ago, which
You
I've talked
love
about
talking
extensively,
about this on the show.
because I think it helps you connect with our women listeners.
What about the male listeners who aren't talking about it?
Come out of the closet,
You
dude.
need to bring awareness to this issue.
Fellas, no longer do we have, it's like those 1% of guys who get breast cancer. You can come out of the closet now because you can. We can come out of the closet now. We exist. I got a yeast infection from taking antibiotics because I got pneumonia while we were on tour. And it hurt to pee really badly. And I'm like, wow, Elon must be feeling that every time he pisses because that's one of the kind of early symptoms of this. Another thing I do, because the whole thing is bladders can't really it's like the chemicals from ketamine that gets into your bladder, your bladder doesn't like that. Your bladder doesn't like that at all.
I don't think, why would it?
It damages the walls of your bladder, which can cause ulceration and perforation.
Oh, no,
Now,
that
Liz,
doesn't sound good.
You might ask, I can read your mind here, I know women so well. What is bladder wall ulceration? Well, you get ulcers or sores inside the walls of your bladder.
Yeah, I kind of guessed that, to be honest.
Some of these sores, these sores, I know your next question here, and I can already predict it. So some of these sores are sterile, right? They're just sores. There's no leakage from them, right? Which is crazy to think it's like inception leakage, leaking in your leakage thing. But some of these are normal. Normal, who's to say what's normal? But some of these have no leakage. Some of them, however, can leak pus, white blood cells, which mixes into the urine, which can lead to a cloudy, milky, and bad-smelling pee emission. This is called pyuria.
You didn't need to add what it's called. You just wanted
I'm
to.
saying, Elon, you need to name one of your kids this. He might be like, oh my God, I'm peeing cum. Ketamine abuse, though, can also cause bladder perforation. This is what I actually really want to talk about. So obviously, we all know what perforation is here. This means you got little holes in your motherfucker. Blood can get in, right? But on the other hand, pee can also get out.
So he's leaking?
So urine, I looked this up extensively for 2 hours yesterday.
Of course you did.
Because I was trying to figure out if this was why his body was so strange. Because
it's full of pee?
Well, you know how, yes. So that it might be a little bit.
I don't think that's why he's all funky the way he is.
I think that maybe many of his organs are kind of leaking a little bit of whatever's in them. But he
does sort of look like, when people in the 60s and 70s who didn't know how to cook would inject meat with water to kind of puff. There's this idea that brining it that way could have it, get a little bit juicier when all it does, of course, is make watery meat. Please do not brine meat that way. Just do a dry brine. Anyway, he does look like he's been kind of puffed up like a roast. He's roast shaped.
Yes, he is. He's fucked. I've seen a lot of freaks. I look up freaks sometimes.
Ham shaped.
We all know that I think all bodies are beautiful, but some I like to look at. His is not beautiful. His is fucked up looking.
It's not. He looks like a holiday ham.
So there could be urine pooling sort of behind his bladder.
I see.
Especially if his bladder has shrunk to 50 milliliters. that entire space that it did holds, because I looked this up again extensively, could just be pee. He could have like
So I have
a water bottle's worth of urine outside of his bladder alone, but it can also pool in other places too.
But I have a question.
Yeah.
Since you looked this up so extensively. If it's pooling in other areas.
We should hear him slosh when he walks.
No. Does it stay in the body or can it still be peed out?
The body keeps score, right? And so I think a lot of the ugliness that he's feeling is because of the urine that's trapped within.
So no, but I'm literally saying is it literally trapped in other areas of the body, or is it just like it's pooling, it's leaking out, but it can still be peed out?
So this is the problem. No, it can't be peed out. I don't think so. I think because there's a few different places it can pool. I think if there's a perforation in the bladder sac and it pools behind the bladder, which is one of the places it can pool, then potentially, I guess, if you have a really strong urinary emission, then you could, sort of maybe suck it in like in a whirlpool or something, a drain. But no, oftentimes it has to be drained with a catheter or something like that.
Of course.
They have to jam a needle in you and get the piss out that way.
Question.
Yeah.
He might not be diped up.
No.
He might just have a catheter on person all times.
Yes. Yeah, he very much could. I mean, he also might have just leaked enough urine to just have the urine in him and not even realize, like, he probably feels bad all the time in crazy ways.
There's a whole subset of catheter influencers, by the way.
Really?
Yes. People like normalizing having a catheter.
It
showed up on an algorithm.
What do you mean, for like disabled people?
Yeah, or people who have been or like recovering from something, but like it'll be people like this is me, or like for people who have had surgery and had like intestinal. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, but when you're saying
removed.
normalizing having a catheter, it makes it sound like they're trying to get people to get catheters. They don't need.
No,
it.
like being like they're like are showing it off. Like it's not like hidden in their clothes, and they're being like, I'm not ashamed of my catheter, and like walking around and like showing it off. That's what I mean, normalizing.
I sort of view. Well, no, we're not going to continue. I've already said enough gross stuff on this episode.
But it's like but it's like people. They're just like
hot
get
chicks.
Ready with me.
With
my catheter.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
My what is a Stanley Cup my Stanley catheter. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's very possible that Elon is both peeing a milky pussy substance, and within him is a shit ton of urine that's just sort of trapped in him. These are all like very real symptoms that you can get from ketamine abuse. And to our many listeners, and not many, but a certain subset of my friends that use ketamine, this is going to happen to you. There is no way out unless you stop doing ketamine. And I'm sick of going to any kind of event, and this doesn't happen very often, but this happens often enough to annoy me. I'm sick of going to things and people disappearing maybe at 11 a.m. We're going to do, not even disappearing. Most
11
of the time
a.m.?
11 a.m.
Oh, yeah, brunch.
My brunch and yoga. And it's half the time people just do it off their finger at the bar. I'm sick of, I can hang out with a guy on coke. It sucks. I got to hear a guy be on coke, but I can't hang out with you when you're on ketamine. It sucks to do.
It's a way to like cut through that.
What?
You say, so I was reading a lot about ketamine abuse.
That's what I'm saying here. So if you're one of my friends who listens to the show, which is fucked up that you do this anyways, and you do ketamine, you need to stop, because every time I see you now, I think of your fucking bladder is filled with pussy piss and your body is filled with urine. Like Elon Musk's.
Okay, last bit of goss before we sign off.
We've got a nuclear gossip bomb for this one. So the article puts in some kind of perspective some things that we've heard about the children and about
Elon's kids.
Yeah.
His predilection for procreation.
We already knew that he was secretly fathering twins with Siobhan Zillis, who has TrueAnon blocked by mistake.
Which is crazy.
It's so fucked up.
Just have fun with it, girl.
Let me get in there.
You fucking knew what you were getting into.
Y'all are poly.
You have $1 billion jillion.
Yeah.
You are on this dumbass fucking website.
Let us have
some fun.
Let us have some fun.
God damn.
I know. I was tagging her a lot on.
So what?
Let me
You know
do
what,
it.
Siobhan? Why do you get notifications?
Why do you get notifications for?
You're the loser.
There's no blue check. We don't have a blue check.
Just fucking turn off notifications, bitch. You fucking moron.
I agree.
Who
but we
uses
love
Twitter
you.
with notifications on?
I don't know. Her? Maybe she just saw it.
No.
Well, anyways, he was secretly fathering twins with Siobhan Zillis, while a surrogate was pregnant with his and Grimes' third child.
Right.
That caused a problem with Grimes because she was like, "What the fuck?" They reconciled.
Wait
Grimes
until
and
she
Elon.
finds out about the hundreds others.
Well, they reconcile, and then Grimes finds out that he was having two more babies with Siobhan, one in Siobhan, and then a surrogate again with Siobhan's. I don't know how that shit works. It scares me. With two other kids with Siobhan.
Yeah.
We also learned that Ashley St. Clair found out that Elon wasn't single during their relationship. And Ashley, I love you. I really do hope you come on the show. Baby, come on. Come on, baby.
They all know. Come on. The thing is, they also obviously never see any of these people in real life because it's like, then you would know they were pregnant.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Also, this is from the article.
On election night, Miss St. Clair and Mr. Musk both went to Mar-a-Lago to celebrate Mr. Trump's victory, but she had to pretend that she hardly knew him, she said. Jesus Christ, girl, if you are celebrating Trump's victory at Mar-a-Lago and your man is making you pretend that you don't know him, that is not your man.
Not your man.
That is Elon Musk.
Maybe, sweetheart, I love you and I know you're pretty young. Not too young.
She should know better.
But you should know better.
It's not just knowing better. It's, you know what?
Respect.
Have a little bit more self-respect.
Fucking respect
We all
yourself.
have to do the work of getting there.
Yeah.
But you got to get there, and you can't go to fucking Mar-a-Lago and be like, I don't know him.
Like, his baby is growing inside of you. Yeah. And he's like, you can't sit with me? How fucked up. Think about that, dude.
Yeah.
Think about how fucked up it is for a guy to get a woman pregnant. And then she comes to the fucking, she rolls up to the party. And he's like, don't fucking talk to me.
Well, it's just also like almost too cliched.
It's just disgusting. That is genuinely disgusting behavior.
I mean,
and his piss is
but it's also
around
like pretty
it.
classic.
Yeah. I guess that's
true. Do you think he was like, I'm getting pregnant pains too. It's like, I'm getting sympathy pains, babe.
Yeah.
It's like, nope, that's the urine in your body.
50% baby, 50% piss.
Yeah.
My innards really hurt, and it feels like things are moving around in there too. I mean, the reality is there was probably multiple women pregnant with Elon kids at that party. This is the other thing. And this is really the most of the news that we got from this article.
Miss St. Clair said that Mr. Musk told her he had fathered children around the world, including one with a Japanese pop star. He said he would be willing to give his sperm to anyone who wanted to have a child. Now, longtime listeners of TrueAnon will know that we have said for years that Elon had fathered way more kids than were on record.
Way.
Including having a property that was maybe devoted to the practice in Austin, Texas.
Yes. I did a little bit of digging on and by digging I mean asking around to people who might know, on the Japanese baby, half Japanese, like the band. But I never heard them.
Or the Weezer song.
No, definitely never heard that one.
El Scorcho?
I'm good on that though. The Weezer thing, I know you like them, but there's always something off about Weezer.
Sure, that's why they're good. Or they were.
But I've never heard half Japanese. That baby she's not a pop star. Like, I mean, pop star, she maybe has some pop songs. I don't know her name. And again, I want to be upfront with everyone. I don't know her name. I've been told that she's not like a pop star. Because I was like, is this someone that's like famous? But she is. I'm going to say more once I know more, but I'm going to find out the name of this baby because I want to know if Elon's naming conventions extend, like if he switches it up for Japan.
Oh, interesting.
You know what I'm saying?
I love this. Yeah, we need to dox the Japanese baby.
We need to dox the Japanese baby. We'll do it in a very honorable way, right?
Well,
but we need to dox
this Orientalist over here. Your
favorite.
favorite.
So I'm sorry. Is honor? Is that the property
You just
of the
made
Orient?
the prayer hands.
It's not a prayer.
Are you bowing?
Yes, I'm bowing, dude. I'm sorry. When you go something, you should show respect to a culture. So we will treat your baby with honor and respect.
But we will dox that baby.
We will dox him. We will dox him.
We'll dox
we
all
need
the
to dox the
babies.
baby.
We need to dox the baby.
And finally,
We have to dox another baby.
well, we can't.
We're not actually doxing the baby. But I want to say this. This is a rumor that is swirling around urine-like in the innards of the New York media organs. I don't
Yes.
know where I'm going with that metaphor.
The body without organs except just filled with pee this is a rumor I've heard from, at this point, 5 different people.
And myself as well.
And are you one of those people, or you also have heard that from 5 different people?
Oh, I thought I was saying myself as well, that I was one of the people.
Oh, yes. Yeah. But it was tough to parse what you were saying there. But
There is a heavy rumor going around right now that I believe our listeners might be interested in.
we have to talk around it a little bit because it's not confirmed.
And you know what?
And it's a rumor.
And also, we always act respectfully and with honor when we are doxing people with rumors or whatever.
We don't dox. We never dox. We never dox against terms of service ever. We're not. We literally are not doxing anybody here.
No, we're not doxing. Look, we're a gossip podcast.
We're a gossip podcast. We're gossiping. This is gossip.
It's just
this
gossip.
is pure, unvarnished, unadulterated, unconfirmed. I want to add
Everyone
that.
is like, who is the next Joe Rogan? And I'm like, who is the next Gawker?
Exactly.
It's TrueAnon.
Yes. Well, no, it's not.
Oh.
That's a curse. That doesn't go well for anybody,
Okay, yeah.
especially with these kind of people. The owners. Let me see if I can do this in like my best blind item.
Oh, I love that.
These lesbo Zionists are rumored to have planted the seed of this Rocket Man doggy into one of their wombs and had his baby.
Well, I don't think you dressed it up very much.
No, well, because people are just like, fine. These no, this is tough for me. These muff diving mavens. These muff diving mavens who run a Zionist Farah Act ass magazine, online magazine, may have, in place of urine, inserted, can you believe that? inserted a very wealthy man's, can you believe this too? Into one of their, and believe this too, and then had his baby. Do you want to try it again?
No, I do want to add that there's other rumors that they were, prior to reaching out to the Rocket Man, that they were rumored to have been brutally rebuffed by an anti-woke essayist.
An anti-woke BIPOC essayist. Brutally rebuffed. He was like, I won't mix races.
I mean,
white devil. No, but they were brutally rebuffed.
Yes.
Well, we don't know brutally, but a rebuff in this instance was brutal, no matter how gently it's delivered.
That's what I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also rumors that a certain, this is going to be hard to explain because I don't know enough about him.
Me neither. Just say the name.
Brett
No, wait.
That a certain has also maybe stopped both or one.
Both, but then also maybe one is now with.
That's the rumor. Well, there's divorce rumors too, but we won't honor those.
Even though you just said that.
Us. Well, there are divorce rumors, but we're not going to talk about them.
Okay.
I mean, it's just beneath us.
But the person we're talking about is a columnist at the New York Times.
A columnist of the New York Times might be stopped helping a pair of homosexual, or one of the pair of homosexual agents of Israel that run a website to further the goals of the Israeli foreign ministry. Is that good enough?
I mean, everyone, don't put it in the comments.
Don't put it in the comment. Do not put it in the comments.
Keep it to yourself.
And this is something we don't listen. We love everybody. In fact, actually, I do fucking dislike these people. And I'm sorry. I love everybody, but I think these people are fucking scum. But I love them nonetheless.
In a like grand way.
I love
grand
everybody.
scheme.
I love every single person on this planet. But the rumor is that it could be Elon's baby.
I love it. Again, not a visual podcast, but if you could have just seen the genuine oopsie that was on Brace's face, it was great.
We're not alleging this. We're literally just saying many people
Many have alleged.
Many have alleged this.
And we're just here to report, not even report. We just want to
We just heard.
transmit.
We're not reporters. We're fucking First Amendment ass warrior comedians.
And we're laughing and sharing these other stories that people are alleging that our listeners don't have access to.
Facts.
And with that being said, I'm Liz.
My name is Brace.
I'm producer Young Chomsky.
And this has been TrueAnon. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein.